Oh, what's up, everyone? How's everyone doing?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, guys? Sorry for the lag. Vinny only has one chair in his room, so I would have been sitting on his bed awkwardly. Tony, I know we had a call yesterday, so you saw what that looked like. So we wanted to go down to the lobby and actually have an office room to do this in. But sweet, awesome, guys. I appreciate everyone joining. I see some familiar faces from our last call 2 weeks ago. For anybody that hasn't joined before, I think the only new person is Matt. So pretty much what we do, just to kind of clarify. And am I good on connection, by the way? I see myself lagging a little bit. I want to make sure you guys can hear me clearly. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, guys. Sweet. So for Matt, since you're kind of new on this, and anyone else that joins, I'll give them a little introduction. We're doing these calls every 2 weeks, pretty much what I like to call them. And I know it's a long name, but it's a private marketing and sales mastermind group call. And pretty much all that we're really doing is talking more than just marketing and sales. Everything from lead gen, lead nurturing, sales, closing, recruitment, operations, really anything that you guys want to go over. And we're not necessarily diving into it with a presentation or any specific topics to go over, but more so things that you guys might want to ask questions on, things that you guys want to have in terms of topics of discussion, and really just an opportunity for myself, Vincent, anyone else to share new ideas, ask questions, so on and so forth. So to kind of get the ball rolling, especially for those of you who are familiar with kind of how we did things last time, what we'll do, and to kind of make things a little bit more efficient and so everyone kind of gets an opportunity to speak if they want to, we'll go, at least what I see on my screen, kind of left to right and up and down, and we'll kind of have everyone similar as always. Just introduce yourself. So for example, if I were to start, I'd be like, hey, my name is Sebastian. I own LEADFUSE. I live in Northern California. My question or bottleneck or challenge for today is blank. And then just go over really any question that you might have that you want somebody else in the call to answer, myself to answer, Vincent to answer, and then we'll go from there. Mohammed, you're the first person I see in the top left. So if you want to start on anything that you want to go forth with, then we'll do that. And we'll kind of give everyone anywhere in the range of 5 to 10 minutes per person in terms of an answer for a question, just so everyone gets an appropriate amount of time to go over what they want to.
Yes, my name is Mohammed. I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I own M3 Auto Detailing. Main thing that I am struggling with right now is going to be kind of nurturing the leads, either before they become a lead or after. Obviously, with the discount you're doing with the 50% off, so it's a lot of them want a nice deal. So I'm kind of struggling with, like, when I give them the price, it's like I know there's downsells and stuff, which I did actually downsell someone to a $3.99 paint correction, which was good. But
Nice.
yeah, just like learning to nurture them either before or after they become a lead.
Sweet. So I'll give kind of my advice, and then Vinny can go ahead and offer anything that he wants to as well. But I always like to tell everyone, and a lot of the time, guys, like you might hear a lot of repeated stuff, and I want to say that that's totally normal and okay, just because I always like to say, instead of learning, as Bruce Lee said, whatever the saying was, I know I'm going to rephrase it and botch it, but he said, instead of learning 1,000 moves, get good at one move 1,000 times. Or practice one move 1,000 times instead of learn 1,000 different ones. So you're going to hear a lot of reiteration, which is totally fine. I think this is going to be good for you, Mohammed, and everyone else. But as I always say, the 4 pillars of lead nurturing, and for anyone that doesn't know what lead nurturing is, it's what happens after somebody expresses interest in your product or service, but before they actually buy. In other words, we can use it as a word of, for example, sales cycle. A sales cycle, for example, is when someone first initially expresses interest in your product or service up until when they actually finally buy. The goal with us in any business is to reduce that sales cycle. How can I get somebody to find out who I am today and buy my service or product tomorrow? I want to reduce that time, because then that's going to give us a faster and more clear return on our investment, return on our ad spend. I want to put money in now and make a return tomorrow. And so, as I always like to say, the 4 pillars of lead nurturing: speed, volume, personalization, availability. Speed to lead is number 1, right? How fast am I getting to the leads from when they come in? Speed to lead being, as I always say, the faster you can get to a lead, the more likely you're going to have a conversation. The more likely you have a conversation, the more likely you're going to be able to convert. Number 2, volume. How many times am I calling the lead until I finally give up? Meaning, for example, how many times am I calling them, and more specifically, in what span of time, right? Somebody can tell me, oh, I'm calling my leads 10 times. Okay, how many, and what time span did you do that? Oh, I did that over a year. I'm like, no, dude, you got to be calling 5, 10 times within 48 hours. So we want to make sure that what I recommend, doing 5 blocks in 48 hours, right? A block is 2 calls, a voicemail, and a message, meaning I call, no answer, I redial, I call, they don't answer, leave a voicemail, leave a text. I'm doing 5 blocks, 48 hours, 10 calls, 5 voicemails, 6 total texts, including the extra 6 because of the original automation that they get sent whenever they come in. And then finally, the final two, which I think are a little bit less important, but still as important, personalization. How well am I being in terms of asking questions, being a therapist in the actual sales call? And then finally, availability. How available am I in terms of the amount of time and time slots I have available for them to choose from when it comes to being able to choose a booking. I always say the easiest kind of example I give is if both businesses, or if we have two businesses, business A, business B, for example, we're able to do, sorry, I'm going to admit someone right here. If both people, for example, were able to have max capacity, business A that's open 24/7 and business B that's only open 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, only open 5 hours per day, the one at max capacity being able to be open 24/7 is always going to win, simply for the fact they have more available time slots, more days of the week, and just customers overall have less of a decision fatigue because they can kind of choose what exactly works best for them. So just to reiterate, 4 main pillars of lead nurturing. As a reiteration as well, lead nurturing is after somebody expresses interest in your product or service, but before they actually buy. It comes down to speed, volume, personalization, and availability. If you can really master all 4 of those, you're really going to increase your conversion over a longer period of time, be able to sell more people. When you sell more people, you make more money, get a better return on your investment. More specific things that we're going to be implementing, if I haven't already updated you guys, check out 6089. If I haven't already updated you guys, is we are going to be updating the LEADFUSE system within this month. A part of that update is going to be things that we're going to go ahead and implement for you guys, which is specifically going to be weekly newsletters sent by your business to your customers, anyone and everyone in your database, whether they purchase your service or whether they haven't. The reason why that's so good is because you're keeping your business top of mind, and we're educating people, we're showing them success stories, and we're just giving them more information on the product or service. Very important. The same way that we want to have the goal of sending 3 to 4, every 3 to 4 weeks an SMS blast, because as everyone and a majority of people have seen success at doing SMS blasts, the reason why they work is because we're reminding people of the service, reminding people of the offer. Like, okay, sweet, awesome. I'm in a better position, whether it's financially or XYZ. And so now we also want to be implementing on a weekly basis. And even as we go through time, even more emails through week, maybe that's 2, 3, 4 emails through every week. So we can just educate people more, show them success stories, and just keep the business top of mind. Because the more value that we provide, the more education that we serve, the more likely they're going to be able to convert because they understand why they need the actual service. Does that make sense, Mohammed? Or
yeah,
any on that? So when Vinny comes back, he's just getting something. I'll have him.
Also, I have something. I'm running like a top funnel, just something on the side for like, I think $10-20 a day.
Yeah.
Just kind of get some data. So whenever I'm ready to kind of make some new creatives and then run the top funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, do you think that's going to be the best way to get results long-term, to kind of start like top funnel, or what's your problem? And
then in terms of your question, you said like in terms of like lead nurturing, like if that's going to over a longer period of time, like
because like when I'm on the phone, obviously, I mean, you're running cold, you're cold to the offer. So people see the offer and they don't really know who you are. I want to get on the phone. I want them to kind of already know who.
No, it's a great question. 100%. So it's going to be a mixture of kind of 2 areas, right? It's going to be a mixture of making sure that we provide that information long before they even enter the CRM, as well as the fact that we provide that information once they've already entered and given us their information. So as an example, right, through the education funnel that we've talked about before, is there's top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. The whole point of that, like as I've always said, is on the paid ad side of things, is we're providing information forcefully through allocating a certain amount of budget to the actual ad. So top of funnel, for example, we're educating them by letting them know, hey, you're in a completely unaware bucket, as I like to kind of describe it. Completely unaware as a definition are people who don't know they have a problem, they don't know there's a solution, and they don't know who you are. And so we're letting them know, hey, you have a problem by not having your car protected. There's a solution which we can offer through ceramic coating, and here's who we are. We're the business that can do it for you. And so we do that through the top of funnel. We do that through the middle of funnel through social proof and showing them testimonials, reviews, and just overall increasing the likelihood of success within their mind by letting them know, hey, here are people who've used our service through the education I've already showed you through the top of the funnel. They've seen success. They know it works. Awesome, sweet. I want to show you that so you can also see that it likely will work for you as well. And then they finally see the offer, which pushes them over the edge to actually want to buy now. And so through the paid ads, sorry, go for it, Mom.
My question is like, I definitely like, trust me, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm questioning like if you got $100 budget, if you're spending like $60 on top of funnel, middle funnel is like 25, and then bottom funnel is like 15, is the middle funnel, bottom funnel, is that where you get most of your return? Or do you put it on the top of funnel?
the smaller the funnel and the farther you go down, like think of it like this.
Yeah.
The most profitable part of the funnel is the bottom. The most unprofitable part of the funnel is the top, because we're not channeling people to get a quote at the top. We're just channeling people to get educated and go back to the Instagram. And that's why we also rely on the organic content to further teach them. And so the farther we get down towards the funnel, sure, that might be the most expensive part of the funnel because we're getting more qualified leads and people who are actually expressing interest in the service. That's also the most profitable because those are people who are already educated. They have a higher likelihood of success subconsciously because they've seen it work for other people. And those are people who are actually submitting quote forms to the actual offer-based ads. And so, yeah, the most profitable part, like just think of it like this, the farther down the funnel you go, the more profitable it gets. Not and then profit at the top, but the top isn't really to make money. It's just to kind of cast a wide net to get people's attention.
And then I know you said send it to Instagram. That's what I'm doing right now. But I'm thinking like if you send them to a landing page where they can fill out a form, you probably might get maybe more leads like that. And then you can have a video with like a more in-depth, like a VSL. That's what people do.
It's like what I want everyone to understand, like on a marketing perspective, like think of it like this. The harder shit that you give them to do, the less likely they're going to do it, meaning the people that do come out the other end are going to be more qualified. Like the word I like to always emphasize is friction. The more friction there is, the less likely people are going to do it. But the people that do it are going to be more qualified because they took the time to do it in the first place. And so when we make it really easy in terms of a step-by-step process to get leads, we're going to get a shit ton of volume, which is why Meta is so easy to get leads in the first place and why a majority of people get more lead flow from Meta in comparison to Google is because it's so easy for people to enter the funnel, right? People see an ad, they press a button, they answer 3 questions. Awesome, sweet. I'm in the system. I should get a text or call regarding a quote for the service I just saw. In comparison to Google, I got to think of what I want. I got to look it up. I got to call a business landing page, and then I got to actually submit information, then get a call or a text or XYZ. And so the more friction we add, 100%. I'll tell you now, right? It's like a seesaw. There's going to be a lot of pros and there's going to be a lot of cons. The pros, for example, of having a funnel page and a VSL and XYZ and a thank you page, disqualification page, whatever the case may be, is the fact that your CPL is drastically going to increase. Meaning, for example, you have to have more capital and more budget to go ahead and push so you get more lead flow to then get a good return on your ad spend, but you're going to get lower volume. In comparison to, for example, on a lead form for Meta, you're going to get a lot higher volume at a lower CPL and a mixture of qualified, unqualified leads. And so it really is just dependent on your situation in the business, right? Businesses, for example, who are between $5,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 per month, lead forms are always, I would say, the best, most optional fit for actual Meta ads. As you grow the business, if you have more capital to invest in the ads and you're willing to spend, 100%. Let's test out lead forms. Let's test out a VSL. Let's shoot a VSL. Let's have a 2-step landing page so that more qualified prospects can visit that, watch it, get more educated. And then from there, we can ask more questions, add more friction, and get more qualified leads at the end of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's definitely something that we can try. Like, for example, when I was here with Vincent, we were doing some of his ads and shooting some stuff. We recorded the VSL so that we can test that. Like, in all reality, like Vinny, and Vinny knows that I say it to his face all the time. Vinny's like my little, he's like a guinea pig. I test a lot of this stuff so we don't have to waste your guys' ad spend on Vinny, which he's okay with. And so like at the end of the day, when it comes to advertising, like I always want to let you guys know as well, is like advertising and spending money on ads, it is gambling. Like anybody that says otherwise, they're lying. It is gambling. But in comparison to going to the casino, you're spending $5,000 at the blackjack table and you don't know how to further after that look at your actual, play back and see, hey, what can I do to be better? Nope. The house always wins, right? They have a certain percentage of the fact they're going to win. In comparison to Meta ads, sure, we're gambling and we're spending $5K. And let's say we make barely our money back. We make a 1x ROAS. We get $5K back, or we get a 2x ROAS. We just double our money. First off, you made a return on your investment if you get anything over 1x ROAS. Second off, we can look back on what we did wrong to see what we need to improve to then further the results and success of the ads. So sure, you're gambling 110%. Always we're gambling. But we can also see what we need to improve the results and success of the ads, which is why it's healthy gambling, I'd say. If you're not running ads, then you're really missing out. I would say you always need to be running ads 365 days of the year. Does that kind of help answer that question though, Mohammed?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And then Tony, I'm just now seeing your message. I'm assuming CPL on the bottom of the funnel will also be lower since they've seen you multiple times. Yes and no. When you first start and what I'm talking about, I know we talked very briefly about it yesterday on our call, Tony, the education funnel. CPL, I would say, is going to be a mixture of high and low. It really just depends on how long over an extended period of time you're doing a funnel like this, because of the reason that less people are getting strained down to the bottom of the funnel, meaning if there's less people, meaning you're going to pay for more each of those persons. And so what that usually means, for example, is in the beginning, it might be, pretty high, but a majority of those people, 8, 9, 10 out of 10 of those people are going to actually buy. You're going to get a lot higher of a conversion rate. But over a longer period of time, the whole point of this is not only to get qualified leads now, it's also to kind of maintain the importance of actually maintaining a brand with your business. Because like at the end of the day, like in comparison to something like McDonald's, where we don't have, billions of dollars of ad budget to allocate towards our advertising, what we need to utilize is the fact that, hey, we're a local service-based business. It's me. I'm a young person. I own the business. Sweet. Awesome. Let me utilize that as an advantage and use that leverage to put my face in my ads, post more organic content with me, and show people, hey, I'm a local service-based business. I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm here to kill it. We do awesome service, and here's how professional we are. And so we can do that through the type of ads that we run, more specifically the education funnel by trickling people down to the bottom. Over a long period of time, it will decrease. Sorry, Mohammed, what was that?
Are you guys planning to do that with Vincent? Top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, or are you just going to keep running what he's doing until it stops working? Or
like we recorded top funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. We're going to be implementing all of that. And that's something that we're beginning to implement for pretty much everybody. Anybody that I would say is already an appropriate kind of ad budget or level of business, I would say it works. Like I said, just because you guys see, for example, Vincent's doing something different doesn't necessarily mean it will work for your business. It really is just depending on how much capital do you have ready to allocate towards, this campaign, right? It might be the size of the business, how much, because for example, I'll tell you now, the education funnel, the reason why it works is because Vincent, for example, is okay with putting money now at the top, allocating majority of budget there, meaning he's not going to get a direct return on his investment tomorrow. Might take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks for people to get trickled down.
Tell them more about the awareness campaign, what it is, and why you will make any money from it, because there's no form on it.
Mm-hmm. So like simply put, when I say these words, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, literally think of it as like a strainer. You're squeezing juice, the pulp is left at the top, you got your actual orange juice at the bottom. We want the orange juice. We want the real, actual good shit, which is qualified leads. And so it's like awareness campaign, the word that Vinny used, is pretty much the top of the funnel, right? We're casting a wide net. We're allocating 40, 50, 60% of our budget. Let's say we're spending $100 a day. We're allocating 40, 50, $60 per day at the top. That, as I like to say, is we're casting a wide net. We're trying to get everybody's attention in our local service in a specific radius to specific zip codes that we're targeting, X, Y, Z. And we're pretty much just trying to educate people on 3 main components. Hey, you have a problem. Hey, we have the solution, and here's who we are. And so that's what I like to specifically, the more specific word I like to use is the completely unaware bucket. People who don't even know what a ceramic coating is. They don't really have a problem by not having it on their vehicle. They don't know there's a solution and that you can perform that service for them, and that who you are, who the business owner is, and what the business is about. And so that's what that kind of top funnel does, is it bridges that gap so that we can go ahead and get people who are completely unaware to at least become kind of product or problem aware. Hey, I know there's a problem. I know there's a product to resolve it. Now I get trickled down towards the middle. And the way that people get trickled down towards the middle is if they interact with that ad, like, comment, share, whatever the case may be, watch the video over an extended period of time, follow your Instagram account. And so at that top of funnel type of creative, we're not necessarily telling people, hey, press get off or get a quote now. We're saying, hey, go ahead and check out our Instagram and Facebook page so you can learn more about what we do here at Caruso's Auto Boutique or XYZ. And so then when they get trickled down towards the middle, then they're going to see videos like, hey, Northern New Jersey luxury and exotic car owners. Here's why 185 plus people gave us perfect 5 stars, nothing under 5 stars. That's the hook. Then boom in the body. Hey, what's up, guys? Northern New Jersey luxury and exotic car owners. My name is Vincent Caruso. Today we went ahead and finished up John's Mercedes-Benz. We just did a 10-year ceramic coating. John, how was your experience? Boom. Then they see more social proof. They see testimonials. They see good stuff happening within the business. Awesome. I'm educated on service. I know there's a problem. I know Vince is a solution. I know who Vincent and Caruso's Auto Boutique is. I see John had a successful and positive experience getting a 10-year ceramic coating on the service. Beautiful. I interact with that ad. I watched it in general. I'm getting trickled down further down the funnel as a quote-unquote qualified lead. Then I see the offer. Hey, what's up, guys? Northern New Jersey luxury and exotic car owners. We only have 2 weeks left with our 50% off ceramic coating offer, winter special, whatever the case may be. And then from there, we're just pushing urgency. We're getting people to, for example, want to submit a quote form now, because then they've been educated, they see the social proof, and now we're pushing them over the edge by saying, hey, we have limited time and limited spots for this specific offer that's a really good deal that's going to want people, to then submit a quote. That makes sense.
Does middle of funnel have a quote form What's the action they got to take for that?
It's a mixture of both. Top of funnel always is no quote form. It's always just redirection to the Instagram or Facebook page. Middle of funnel, as an example, is always usually going to be a mixture between, hey, get quote, along with, hey, visit the Instagram page. So we're going to test both. Because at that point, a lot of the times people who are already, for example, educated are like, sweet, awesome. I already kind of get an idea of what they do. I hadn't know that there's a problem. I really want this. How can I get in contact to get this service done for my vehicle? And so, yeah, it's going to be a mixture of both. And then bottom of funnel is always 110% going to be get quote. We're never going to put, for example, hey, visit the Instagram page there.
And then like if you book someone in from the middle of funnel, will they still end up getting the bottom of funnel in the next few days, or is there a way to come back to that?
Yeah. So like the cool thing that we can control, for example, is like the way that people get trickled down. It's not at random, right? We don't want people to see bottom of the funnel before they hit the top. We want them to see a specific set of things in the order in which we want them to, because then they're going to get educated in the order we want them to get educated. And so we want them to see the top. The way that we trickle them down towards the middle and then down towards the bottom is dependent on, for example, have they seen the ad in the first place? If they interact with it, did they watch it for a long period of time in terms of what we want them to watch it for? And then are they somebody, for example, that's already interacted with Instagram? So top of funnel, as I mentioned, since we're allocating a majority of budget there, that as an example, people in all areas are going to see that ad. We don't care, for example, if it's somebody that's following the Instagram account, who's interacting with the business account. Those people, for example, we can just automatically funnel to the middle. But the top, as an example, we just want everyone to see. And anybody, for example, that positively interacts with that, we then want to then see the middle. Because then, for example, like I mentioned, they've already been educated on the service and they've seen XYZ, what happens to a car when it gets coded.
Doesn't Andromeda help with nurturing now?
Yeah. And so like anybody, and obviously that's stuff that we handle, but like as an example, there's a new update with Meta, Andromeda, for example. It helps more so in terms of the creative side of things and why, for example, we're putting an emphasis on the type of scripts that we give and you guys use.
Either we can kind of put in order.
What was that?
Either kind of we can put the creative in order so they see one creative before the other.
Exactly. Yeah. That along with like it helps with the targeting and the types of words that we use. Yeah, sweet, awesome. I want to give some other people some time. I hope that helped answer a lot of the stuff, Mohammed. And by all means, if anybody helps, ask more questions about that, and we'll go deep into it. 100%. Sweet. Next person I see here, and if anybody wants to, really has an eager question, type it in the chat, and we can go off it if it's similar to what you have to ask. But the next person I see is Tony. If you have anything, and if you don't, by all means, you don't have to ask a question. But if you just want to introduce yourself, you can. If you want to ask a question as well, by all means, whatever you guys really want. This time is for you guys.
So my name is Tony. I'm the owner of 520 Mobile Detailing here in Denver, Colorado. We just had a call yesterday, so I don't really have any questions, although just wanted to let you guys know that I have 2 interviews for sales reps tomorrow, and just see how that goes.
Which one's Andrea and who's the other one?
Andrea and then some other lady. Basically my other homie, he has a business in Seattle, a pressure washing business, and he just hired a sales rep. So this other lady wants a job, and he'd already hired one. So I'm gonna just interview her, see how it goes.
Okay,
Beautiful, good stuff, dude. And I'm gonna flex for you, Tony, a little bit. For anybody that doesn't know Tony, because this is the first time on his call as well. Tony is in Colorado, I believe. He's been in business for I think less than a year and a half, right? If I'm not wrong.
A year and like 2 months.
Yeah, so barely a year. He's already doing 40+K per month with 2 mobile units. He just got a second truck. He's looking to get it into a shop within the next 3 to 6 months, hopefully sooner. And hence the reason why he's looking for a sales rep. He's already in a comfortable position to be doing that. He's absolutely killing it. Tony, keep doing what you're doing. And sweet. Thank you for the time. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it, bro.
Let me answer Price's question real quick. Realistic, how many education videos should we be doing a week straight to our page? So what I always like to tell everyone in the retooling kind of concept that I created was like, think of your campaign as a life. Think of your ad spend as cigarettes. The more cigarettes I smoke, the more likely I'm going to die sooner. If I spoke 10 packs a day, I'm probably taking off 5, 10, 15 years off my life. The more money I spend on a campaign, the more likely the ad creative in that specific campaign are going to fatigue, and the more likely that campaign is going to die out as well. It really is just dependent on how much we're spending. Imagine if we're spending $1 a day. Just imagine how long that creative can be stretched. A year, 2, 5 years maybe. But imagine we're spending $250, $500 per day. Imagine how much more creative we need to shoot because of the fact that more people are seeing it. And so what we track on our end, I kind of share a little bit about what kind of James and I do to make sure that your guys' ads are performing in terms of what we want to see is like frequency. Frequency is a metric that we track to see how frequent are people actually seeing the creatives? And so we have kind of like a benchmark that we calculate that based off of that kind of gives us an idea of when you guys need to go ahead and shoot more creative. So it really just depends on how much ad spend you're spending, right? If you're spending something like Vincent is, he's spending $200, $250 per day, then yeah, you need to shoot creative a lot more often. Whenever we shot creative with him, we spent 2 days. The second day, we literally got to the shop at 8 a.m. I shit you not, we didn't leave the shop until the next day at 7 a.m. We were up for 24 hours shooting ads. That amount of ad creative that we shot for him is going to last him 2, maybe 3 months at that amount of ad spend, because we shot almost 200 plus ad creative. And so it really is just dependent on how much ad creative we have to work with in the first place and how much ad spend we're spending on the campaign that we're having active. I would say, for example, as a general rule of thumb, is if you're a business that's spending about, let's say, $75 to $125 per day, if you knock down one really super solid shoot day in the month, and I'm talking about like 8, 12 hours straight of ad creatives being shot, that can last you that full month. And so it's 1 day of misery, as I like to put it, for a full 30 days of glory. So you'll be totally fine. So really just depending, like I said, how much ad spend are we spending? How much creative are we working with in the first place? I hope that answers your question, Bryce. If you have any more, by all means, shoot them in the chat. Sweet. The next person I see here is Matt. Matt, and this is for some of the call. Any specific questions you got from me or Vincent? Like I said, really regarding anything. It doesn't need to be just about marketing. It can be on fulfillment, onboarding, recruitment, retention, really anything you want.
Not really.
Do you want to introduce yourself? I know this is your first time.
Oh, yeah. I'm Matt. I own mobile. Yeah, I'm on no sleep right now. APX Mobile Detailing out of Dumont. I'm like 45 minutes from Vinny and you guys right now. But yeah, I started like unofficially 2 years ago, and then I started APX in February, and then it's been, I guess you could say, great ever since.
Beautiful. Yeah. Sweet. Heck yeah, dude. And by all means, if you have any questions that pop up, shoot them in the chat or just, raise your hand, whatever works good for you. I appreciate you being here. Sweet. Louise, I see you next year. Or let me go ahead and see what Price says. Has to say real quick. Okay, has my opinion had any issues with ads now that he's in the shop? With weather change, I want to push getting in my shop more. What's the most effective way? So yeah, 100%. Anybody that says that business is going to slow down or not going to slow down in the winter is lying. Winter definitely is going to slow down business. The way that we can help combat that is making sure that we have winter specific offers and that we have something, if you have something, available to you at your shop, 100%, it's going to help you because you can control the weather essentially and have people come to you and still perform services that maybe the winter won't allow you to mobile it. And so to answer your question more specifically, has Vinny had any issue with his ads? So yeah, I mean, cost per lead, you'll see totally 110%. It might creep to be a little bit higher. The way that we can combat that, like I mentioned, is just having specific ad creative and specific offers, more importantly, that are tailored to the time of year that we're in. And so like the word or kind of like offer, I guess you could say, that we used throughout Vinny's ads that we recorded was, I think, what was it? Winter special or winter ceramic special?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, my other ads started to fatigue a bit. Like the ads that I had that was running in the spring and summer that were doing really, really well. They started to fatigue a bit now that the cold weather came around. And the only way to combat that is like obviously the winter's coming up now, so you just got to change the it's just pretty simple. Like you just got to change the offer and the wording inside of the creative. When we created creatives back in the summertime, the main thing we were focusing for is a harsh UV rays, all that sort of stuff, protection, gloss, and now we just switch up our pain points in the creative, which is now going to be road salts, winter, all that sort of stuff. So it's just simply changing up your wording and toning and tonality inside of the creative.
100%. So like I said, winter ceramic special, winter special, winter protection package. Protect your car now before it gets damaged in spring. Words like that. I'm making a right now. You accidentally used AI Gemini. Let me go back there. So no issues really driving them directly to the shop instead of mobile. I think you can answer that. Cool. No issues.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Price. I think the main thing that if I could, and Price too. I mean, are you there? If you don't mind, just turning on your camera too as well, if you can, just so I could talk to you a little better. But if you can't, no worries. But real quick, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay, bet. Yeah. So real quick, the main thing is, I think I understand why you're asking these questions. Are you trying to figure out if people are actually coming into the shop? Because obviously me and you, because you're getting a shop too soon, or you've got a shop, right?
Yeah, so I have a shop, but I would literally say 95% of my details are still or ceramic coatings are still mobile, even though I'll try to push hey, it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot better conditions if we can get in the shop because we have control over literally everything. Like we clean the shop out every day, if not twice a day, to make sure your vehicle, like no dust particles, stuff like that, get in the way. And just kind of like a better service that we can provide in our shop with having everything there. Someone just commented on my ad if I could do a gun. There's no way. Sorry, that really distracted me. But yeah, they were like, it's mainly just like, no matter how hard I kind of push, like, hey, we can take care of it in the shop. It'll be better conditions. Like, I feel like they always want a mobile, which obviously, like, convenience of it 10 times better. But I didn't know if like you were having any issues like pushing them to your shop, say in return of just like going and doing them. Because I know you still have the mobile unit, obviously, but.
No, yeah, exactly. And I get what you're saying. Like, you got to think, like, if we're going to offer people the same service for the same price, they're obviously going to go with the more convenient factor on their side, which is the mobile. So one thing that I have my sales rep do as of right now, Caitlin, which I know a lot, I haven't been posting in my stories really at all. So some of you guys might not even know where I'm at, but I just hired a new sales rep, Caitlin. I trained her up. I hired her about like a month ago now. I implemented a lot of new systems, a lot of new sales scripts, a lot of new packages to help her process and training process way easier. So she's been up and selling for me on her own for quite a while now. One thing that she does at the beginning of every single call, and one thing that I implemented into the systemization of my business ever since I got the new shop, was I made it so that if you want to choose mobile now, there's a $50 mobile fee. So essentially what that does is, like, if you're offering someone a $400 package and it's $400 both mobile and in shop, they're most likely going to choose the mobile because it's way more convenient. So that's one thing that might help you out to get more people in the shop. Obviously, like, that's my other thing I was going to say is like educate them on, like, any ceramic coating lead we have come in. It's like, okay, show off the bat, tell them like, hey, we have mobile and in shop, just letting you know that mobile is a $50 travel fee. Although I would really recommend, since you are interested in the ceramic coating, to come into the shop. We're able to perform it better. We're able to do it on our own time. There's no environmental factors, and that helps push them. But what might help you push them a little bit more for you price is just telling them, like, right off the beginning of the call, my sales rep will do her introduction. Hey, it's Caitlin Caruso's Auto Boutique. How may I assist you? Awesome. How are you doing today? Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, so real quick, I just got a couple questions for you. Just starting off, though, just to let you know, we have both mobile and in-shop services. Just letting you know, though, you can come to our shop here in Randolph, New Jersey. It's 273 Franklin Road, or we can come to you mobily. Just to let you know, though, straight off the bat, we do have a $50 mobile fee. So right off the bat, they're hearing a $50 mobile fee, and it's increased. So like that will incentivize people to come into the shop. But it's like, is your shop in a good area too, or is it kind of like a little far? Is it typically far from people?
Realistically, it's going to be like a 20-minute drive, like on average. And then like we're running our ads, but I think it's within like a 40-mile radius is like the furthest we get. So like sometimes it's going to push out to like 35 to like 40, 45 minutes, which is pretty far, but realistically, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even really too bad, because I mean, like, I've got people like coming. I got a dude came all the way from like New York City, so he came like an hour and 30 minutes. He was coming. So it might just be that, like, really, I think it's just a sales process in the beginning of the greeting section is really incentivize the fact that, like, if it's ceramic coating, doing it at the shop is going to be way better. And then also too, just I would add on that $50 mobile fee, just because there's a couple of things you can do with the $50 mobile fee. Is one, it incentivizes people to come to the shop. This way, not everyone's still going mobile and there's no jobs done at the shop. Two, what the $50 mobile fee does as well is it allows us some wiggle room. What my sales rep Caitlin will do is, when we get, obviously on last call, I went over my AVD sales method. And one thing that I talk about that I do in that is I anchor the price down for price objections. Now, one thing is, like, if someone's hesitant on price, if they really want to go with a full detail for mobile and they're hesitant, Caitlin will actually sometimes, play around with that mobile fee. So sometimes she'll waive it off to incentivize people to, go mobile and buy from us and all that sort of stuff. But still, just like stating at the beginning of the call is going to help drive more in-shop jobs and mobile. And you can even increase that. You can do like a $100 mobile fee, maybe keep it 50. You can play around with it, but really just make sure you not only drop the $50 mobile fee, but you really tell them, like, hey, I'd recommend getting it done at the shop. This is a high ticket service and we'd rather do it here.
Yeah. Okay. Bet. I would like I said, like, I don't understand why anyone would spend $1,500 on their car to get like coated and protected ceramic or like polished and not want it to be like best case scenario conditions. So like I understand what you're saying. They're like pushing that kind of a little bit harder on the sales call.
I'll add on that too, and I'll answer your question, Matt, right after this. Is like, it really just ties down to, like, the messaging, right? And that really just ties down to the types of words that we're using within the ad creative. So like, I'll kind of share my screen really quick and show you guys something that I've been working on that it's taken me a really long time, but I'm totally okay with. As you guys all probably know, Vinny included, we're both huge, like we're just both OCD as crap. And so like, I always like to make sure something's really, really good before I ever share it with anyone. But as you guys can see here, this is something I've been working on. It's 54 pages as of right now, nowhere near to completion. It's probably gonna be 75 plus pages. For the 1% of people that use LEADFUSE to actually read it, it's going to be a crap ton of value. I don't expect somebody to reach 75 plus pages of what I've wrote, but for the people that do, I promise you're going to find a lot of value in it. This is one thing that I want to reference in terms of the messaging, right? Something I wrote was the dog owner test. You've probably seen those videos online where a dog owner secretly films their dog while saying random trigger words. Park, the dog's ears perk up. Walk, the dog stands up. Treat, the dog is now staring directly at the owner fully locked in. Why? Because those words mean something to the dog. They're not random, they're relevant. And the moment the dog hears them, everything else in the room disappears. That's exactly what you're doing with your A-roll, aka the words that you're using when you actually film. You're not trying to speak to everyone. You're trying to speak to someone specific. And what that person hears, and when that person hears the right words that describe their exact problem, their exact frustration, their exact desires, they stop scrolling, they lock in, and they watch. This is why messaging matters more than production quality. You could have the most beautiful B-roll in the world. You could have Hollywood level editing, but if your A-roll is speaking to the wrong person or saying the wrong thing or delivering it the wrong way, the ad dies. Your words are the filter. So it's really, really important that we use the right words within our actual ad creative, and we're saying it in a specific way, the same way I just read that to you guys. Emphasis on specific words, my tonality, my volume, my speed, my pitch, everything, the exact words themselves. Very important. So we want to make sure that we're targeting the right people in our actual ad creative itself. And that also includes pretty much what you mentioned, Perez, which was, hey, how can I get more people in the shop? Which is, hey, we got to use specific words to emphasize the importance, benefits, features, XYZ of bringing the car to the shop instead of getting it mobile. Because everyone imagine, the first thing you think of when you think of mobile is what? Convenience. Oh, awesome. So yeah, I don't care if I got to pay $1,500 or an extra $50. I got somebody coming to my house. I can stay in my PJs. I can give them my keys and I can go lay on the couch when they're cleaning my car. And so it's like, sure, maybe they do have to go a little bit of an extra mile to go drop it off and get a ride or wait at the shop, but it's well worth the fact that your car is going to come out 10 times better in a shop. So we just want to use those words to express that and the actual ads themselves. So if that's a problem you're facing, thank you for letting me know. That's 100% something we can tweak within the actual words and the scripts that we give you to make sure that we're attracting more of those types of people. Beautiful, sweet. I think the question that you asked, Matt, was more specific to Vinny. I'll have him answer that when he comes back. I think he went to the bathroom. So he can give you a little bit more of an idea whenever, for example, you're getting objections like that. Next person I got right here is Louise. If you want to introduce yourself and question you got, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm Luis. I'm the founder of Revival Detailing here in Long Island, New York. I've been in business for almost 2 years. This is my first winter detailing. Just a question. I know we talked about making SOPs for my first employee. How can I, once I make those SOPs, how can I enforce it on him without being too strict and just make sure that he actually does it, step by step? Because over time, employees tend to get really lazy and stuff.
100%. I know that's something I told you, so I'll give my little 2 cents and I'll let Vinny go on that as well, because that's more so a fulfillment side of things. But it's same thing with me. I mean, I have team members I need to train and teach. So as we talked about, and just for reference and context for anyone else, I had a call with Elise, and we talked about specifically the importance of him delegating the labor side of things so he can focus more on sales. And so I specifically talked about having specific materials ready, or at least somewhat prepared for when he begins to train more people, so that they have resources to refer to whenever they're on the field. As an example, what I always like to kind of have and what I have prepared for my team, and I can show you, for example, an example of an SOP template that I have that I use for everything I use at LEADFUSE. It's like to have a written version, a recorded version, and then, for example, I like to train them in person. And so a way, for example, or a piece of recommendation that I have for you, Luis, to enforce that is first off, I know you mentioned whenever you said, hey, I don't want to be too strict. There's nothing wrong with being strict, right? You want your guys to perform a certain way. Awesome, sweet. That's the expectation that you hold for them. It's whenever I have, something go wrong here at LEADFUSE, if somebody, for example, gets a response that takes too long, or something that doesn't go the right way, or clients aren't getting the results they want, I'm not going to be yeah, it's okay. Yeah, guys, it's totally fine. That happens. I'm like, guys, let's sit down right now. What went wrong? How can we prevent it in the future? And how can we make sure that we can change this client's results? Same thing for you. So it's hold that certain level of expectation for your employees. And so that's the first thing. It's just mindset shift there. Second thing is, boom, you already have all these materials. Like I said, when I told you, for example, when you prepare them for your actual workers and technicians, you have it written, you have it recorded, you give them a quiz before they get on the field. The certain expectation that you hold is, hey, you got to get a 90% or above on all the materials that you read and watched before you can even day one step into the shop or step on the field for us to work together. You're already, from day one, already telling them, hey, these are the expectations I have for you to work out this company. If you don't like it, fine, get the fuck out of here. And so it's like, sure, it's a mixture of getting strict, but it's also a mixture of also, have good company culture, right? Just the way I'm talking now is obviously not the way that I'm talking to my employees all the time. I'm not being a hard ass or being a strict, whatever person all the time. I'm obviously having fun. I'm laughing. I'm making sure that the mission and the vision of the company is always at the forefront of our minds. We're having good company culture, XYZ. But at the end of the day, work is work. We're here to do a certain thing. So we're holding a specific expectation for the people that work for us. And so if anyone wants to see, before I let Vincent go into kind of what he recommends as well for upholding specific things in terms of SOPs, is like what I recommend that you guys might do specifically over the topic of SOPs, as I quite literally have, as you guys all know, like I said, I'm very OCD. I have a template and I have an SOP on how to make an SOP. And so I'll share that with you guys now. If you can't already see, my laptop's lagging a little bit. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay, there we go. Sweet. So I literally have an SOP on how to make an SOP. So it's literally LEADFUSE operations template, how to create an SOP. And literally, I practice what I preach. I walk the talk. I said I document it in terms of writing. I also document it in terms of recording. Operations template, how to create an SOP, video overview. Guess what? I quite literally have, if we go here, I have let's see how long this video is. It's 11 minutes long going over this document. Not only do I have it written, I have a video version for them to go to. So whenever I tell Henson, our operations manager, James, our ad specialist, Mike, our success manager, hey guys, I need you to go make an SOP, they know, based off the template, not only do they know how to format the SOP in terms of writing, they have an 11-minute video of me going over specifically on how to create an SOP and all the specific things that I want done whenever they're making it. And so I have a video overview. We do a mirror overview. If you don't know what mirror overview is, it's like a flow chart that you can make. We don't have it specifically for this because we don't need it. We have an overview objective, precept requirements. There's always going to be a certain set of things you need to do before the actual task. So we have a precept requirements where we can go ahead and tag any prior SOPs that you need to read before making this one. And then the step-by-step process. Step 1, create the document structure. Step 2, gather the process details. Step 3, build step-by-step process. Step 4, apply LEADFUSE formatting. Step 5, quality review checklist. And then final step, save, share, and schedule review. They save it. They put it in the correct Google Drive and department. They share it with all the designated team members. And they schedule a review with me so that I can sit down and make sure that that SOP is properly made. And guess what I just did by doing that? I just went ahead and removed a task that I likely never have to do again, review quarterly, and then boom. I just went ahead and saved me a shit ton of time over a longer period of time. So SOPs, in my opinion, very, very important. If you guys don't already have a template on how to make an SOP, make it. It's not the make or break of your business, right? It's not going to make you an extra $10,000 tomorrow. But if you simply implement these small little things within your business where you have a template on how to make an SOP and you begin to systemize your business more, guess what happens in 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now? You're going to have a business that works for you instead of you working for it. And so make sure you're documenting all your procedures. But specifically to your question, Luis, Vinny, to kind of reiterate, since I went off a huge tangent and just spieled, Luis's question was, how can I enforce specific procedures and processes and SOPs whenever I'm training a new technician so that he's making sure that those technicians are doing their job right?
Yeah, so real quick, your question is, it's solid. Like, you want to make sure. That's more of a, you're almost in a sense asking, how do my employees, do what I tell them to do, and how do I make sure that they're doing what they need to do? So rather than, kind of answering your question directly, I'm just going to jump a little bit more into my delegation, strategy and why I think that, mine is very unique. Alongside, being one of the best auto boutiques here in New Jersey and automotive businesses here in New Jersey, I don't only want to be the best service there. I also too want it to be one of the best places to work at. So I want it to be, the best automotive place to bring your vehicle to get tinted, PPF, ceramic coated, that. But then I also want everyone to be like, oh my God, Caruso's Auto Boutique, that's the place to work at. That's where I want to go. That's where it's not only is a good, fun working environment, but it's a good, just place to be financially stable. And the better of a workplace your place is, the more people are gonna want to work there, and the more people that are gonna want to work there, that means the more people you have to sort through to find better employees. Now, essentially, why I think that it's so good to work here. Now, one thing too is Sebastian's business is all online. It's a little bit different than like freaking what we do with our technicians, all sorts of stuff. SOPs are super simple. If all of you guys want to scale up to 50K, 100K per month, SOPs is something that you guys should have nailed down. It's super simple. All an SOP is it's just literally a document or a video explaining how to do a certain procedure inside your business. That's very simple. That's very straight to the point. That you guys should all have nailed down. And I really don't think that you guys should dive into, like Sebastian, really creating so much SOPs. Like as right now, I have a decent amount of SOPs, but I really don't have a ton. The reason why too is like SOPs are more in my the way I view them is like more for like when the business wants to run itself. Like when you have SOPs in place, the business can run itself. So when I am gonna build out almost my SOPs, make all my SOPs and dial in on those, is gonna be more in the future once I get more shops. Once I do all that sort of thing. As of right now, I'm not going to lie, like for me right now, building out SOPs aren't going to increase revenue in the company. So I'm not just going to focus on it right now. Yes, I do have a couple key SOPs, such as key SOPs for my sales rep and all that sort of stuff in place. But SOPs are more for down the line of like, okay, when I want to get another location, when I want to systemize this one location, this way it can run itself. That's when I'm going to focus on that. So all of us right now, get a good understanding of what SOPs are, have your key SOPs, but don't focus all your time on making like a shit ton like Sebastian, because we're just a little bit of a different business model. But the main thing I want to stress is what we will experience is, bro, technicians, bro, you could give them a million SOPs, bro. Like they don't want to sit down. And I've been in the carpentry industry as well. Like it's just so weird when it comes to like just sitting down, giving them a document, having them to read. Like, yes, it's good. Yes, it's effective. And yes, it can be good. But like, it's just like, they're just so much less likely to read. Like I made this whole entire thing for my techs. They only read like a quarter of it, like they don't want to read, do anything like that. Technicians are most likely like those blue collar type of people that want to see, do all sorts of stuff. So videos do help them out more. What helps technicians grow the most is just in-person training. Like that was my same thing for carpentry. Like when I learned carpentry in a classroom, it's like, okay, like it's stupid. Like you're learning like how to install a window, but you're not actually doing it. It doesn't make sense. The way you learn a detail, the way you learn a PPF or tin is when you see it and you do it in person. So that's what I do for my training. That's why I've never really focused on making training modules, training videos. It's okay. When someone's new inside of my company, either I train them up or I have one of my employees train them up in person. They actually do it. That's the best way to learn, I think, in my opinion, with blue collar. Real quick, jumping straight into my delegation strategy and why I think is pretty unique and why it's like the best strategy to keep your employees, obedient to you and like respect. Because I don't want to say obedient to say like you are their boss, but you don't want to be like that like boss that's always bossing down on them, all sorts of stuff. You want them to feel not as if they're on the same level, but if there's respect all around. So the way to do that and the way to keep them, obedient and, actually respecting you and listening to you and, respecting your SOPs and your all sort of stuff is by simply having a good connection with every single one of them. So what I do inside of my company is rather than having just a shit ton of SOPs in like a Google document for them to read and be like, okay, because like last thing a technician wants to hear is like, here's homework that you have to go forth and read. Now, what I do is I have a Notion dashboard for every single one of my employees. Now, on this Notion dashboard is a couple different things. I have a pre-job checklist, so everything they have to do before the job, pre-inspection, do everything they need to on your able, all sorts of stuff, yada, yada, yada. Then I have a post-job post-job checklist, which is like at the end of the job, make sure all the tools and equipment are there, this, and that, collect payment, make sure if it's cash or card, you input in your able, all sorts of stuff. Then I have an end of day checklist, which is pretty much like, okay, at the end of the day, make sure your worker is clean, all sorts of stuff. So a little bit of systemization there and some checklists of what they have to do to make sure that they do those things. And then two, on top of that, I have resources on these Notion dashboards, like resources such as, chemical dilution charts, really anything that, you guys have in the van that's printed out, I pretty much go for it and put on this dashboard. That's why it's always there. But the main thing that I do with the dashboard is for every single one of my employees, which is why everyone I think would love to work at Caruso's Auto Boutique, is the fact that I mentor every single one of my employees. I focus on their lifestyle goals, their professional goals, or what is it? It's professional, financial, and personal goals. And doing that is like, you're a mentor for your person. You're making like, okay, my one dude, say he wants a house. Okay, I am now sitting down with you. And one thing that I do every single month, I have a one-on-one alignment meeting with every single one of my, people. And during that alignment meeting, which I haven't really done them as much as I want to, that's one thing I'm going to start doing. Now that I'm a CEO inside of my company, it's way easier to do that. But one thing that I do is that every single month I sit down and have an alignment meeting with one of my teammates, one-on-one with every single person. And pretty much what we do on that call on that talking is go over, okay, how's everything in the company? How's it, like everything going? Is there any feedback you have? Yada, yada, yada. And then also too, I'll tell them, sometimes, you guys know, sometimes technicians will piss you off. Maybe they misplace a bottle, maybe they do this, maybe do that, and they do this stuff wrong. And you're starting to notice patterns like, hey, this one dude isn't putting away the bottle right, or he's doing something wrong. Don't just yell at them right then and there. Just jot it down in a little note section. I have notes I have my own Notion dashboard to run my own life. So I have a note section for every single one of my employees. And essentially in that note section, I'll put, okay, on alignment meeting, talk to Brian about, putting bottles in direct area. And then on alignment meeting, Brian, I've noticed this, and that. Can we go forth and do this? This way it's more formal. You don't sound like you're just yelling at them right there in the moment. It's like, okay, on our alignment meeting, we're focusing on getting you better. And then during the alignment meeting, you pull up their dashboard and you pull up, all their notes regarding their personal or financial and their professional goals. And then you continue to align the company for those goals. So this way, every single time they come into the company, they feel like they're doing something in like general. Like maybe some people come in as detailers. Maybe they want to become PPF installers to make more money. Maybe they like PPF better. Then, you're always on the alignment meeting focusing on them to see what they can do to get to that spot. And then also too, on top of that, you're just always giving them vision, of the future of the company, of what it holds. And that's just like my delegation strategy. It's just like, it's combined of, good communication. And then also too, another thing is you want to have incentives on top of that too, like incentivize, showing up on time, just all that basic sort of stuff to make sure they're continuing going. And with that proper communication, the calls, the alignment meetings, all that sort of stuff, and then Notion dashboards, that's what helps keep them obedient. And that's what will have them respect you. And if they respect you, then they should go forth and they should, follow all the SOPs and the checklists that you give for them. Because at the end of the day, now the checklists and the SOPs are not only for you to make more money in service, they're for them to grow inside the company as well too. So it's left for Lewis to how to answer your question a little bit more. It's less of how do I make sure they follow them? It's more of how do I make sure that my employees respect me so they do everything that I say? That's more of what it is. It's just proper communication, doing all that stuff, like I said, and just making sure that you're there.
100%. And then just to reiterate too, you don't have to have a million SOPs like I do. I have over 250, if not 300 plus SOPs. Obviously, my business is a bit different from your guys'. It's online. But the main point, if I didn't iterate it correctly, was I think Vinny can attest, is an SOP is for two things: to simplify it for you guys to refer back to on a certain process and procedure in which something needs to be done. As an example, right? Vinny, for example, is not on the field anymore. He's not doing full details. He's not doing codings. Sure, maybe he's hopping in and doing a hand. And not to say that he'll ever forget how to do a specific service, but it's whenever he's training somebody new, awesome, sweet. He can pull that up and he can train this person on that specific step-by-step process in which how something is done. Because I'm sure a lot of people will hear, if you don't already have an SOP, and Louise, this is something in a conversation I had with you. It's sometimes, for example, and be completely honest with yourself. It's when you're on the field and you're doing a job, are you doing it the exact same way every single time, job to job? Maybe, for example, you're tweaking one thing or this or that or this or that. If you actually sit down and you document the most optimal way to do a service in the fastest, most proficient amount of time, and you do it that way every single time, without fail, you're more likely going to have a higher likelihood of success of that customer coming out satisfied on the service because you have documented the most optimal way for you to do the service. And guess what happens? You have it written, you do it yourself that way, you can train and go ahead and give that SOP or train them on the specific way that you do it because you have it documented. So that's just the importance of that. You don't need to have, like I said, 250 plus SOPs. Just have SOPs on your specific services and anything else that's important that you eventually want to teach people how to do as well. And then real quick before we answer your question, Price, but Louise, does that kind of answer your question in terms of that? Does that help?
Yeah, 100%. And I know Vincent does his SOPs on Notion. And would you recommend for me to start doing those SOPs on Notion and for me to do it myself, or should I hire a VA since I don't know how long it really takes to organize?
I'll answer real quick. I'll let Vinny answer that too. I would say I fell into that trap where I had somebody make SOPs for me, for example. Bro, you know your business better than anyone else ever will. You should be making all the foundational SOPs on your services, on XYZ. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you can hire somebody, right? Specific positions in your business, a president, CEO, COO, whatever. Then you can have that person who has more of a creative mindset and has a specific salary to do the business, to do things for you and make SOPs. But because you're doing a majority and you hold the most important cap in the business, you should be making all your stuff. In terms of platform, really, it doesn't matter. Vinny does everything on Notion. I do everything on Google Drive. His SOPs are not more optimal than mine. Mine are not more optimal than his, right? It's really just what you prefer. I prefer Google Drive. I've been doing and using Google Drive all my life. That's what I've been taught and what I've seen is the most optimal for me. I'm going to continue to use it because it's the easiest for me to use. Vinny uses Notion because he likes it. You can organize it a specific way, X, Y, Z. And so really just use both, test it out. One's not better than the other or this or that, right? It really just, I mean, obviously to you, subjectively, but obviously just find what you're more comfortable with and what you know can work the best.
I would say that, like, I was thinking about it, like, you know, like, yeah, you can hire, I was having a VA, she was making most of my SOPs, but it's like, why would, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the SOPs are the best way to do something. So it's like, that's something that you want to create for your own business. Cause like,
I meant more like obviously I would create them because I know like what I'm doing with like the detailing part, but I meant more like organizing it onto Notion for like the future. Is that something I should do now or just later on?
I mean, like, I don't know if you should do it now. I mean, it all just depends on, like, you just got to really think of your time and all that sort of stuff and where you're at in business and where you're at with your revenue. Is like, you know, bringing on a VA doesn't really cost that much. You just got to sit down and think, like, my VA, you know, I pay her on a day rate, which is way easier because sometimes she doesn't have tasks to do. She just does her recurring tasks, which is like post on social media, post to our stories, do all this, do that. And then like sometimes she just doesn't have tasks. That's why I don't pay her hourly, just so to ensure that she's pretty much on salary. Essentially, she's on salary pretty much, but I call it day rate. And pretty much that's the thing there. But like, I wouldn't really necessarily get one if you are left with tons of time. But if you feel like you do have like a lot of time or not a lot of time on your hands and you want to focus more on revenue, then yeah, I would. Just real quick, me and Sebastian do have to hop on another call here shortly. But real quick, I want to show before we leave, which I think is going to be valuable for you all, is I would say the best strong suit in business that I have, I think, is systemization. And that's what I love. I think it's just because I am OCD. Did that send to me?
No, I don't think it did.
Owners.
And then also, don't worry, Matt and Price will get to your questions as well. I saw that pop up. In the
Yeah,
message.
we'll answer.
And by all means, if anybody else has questions, we'll take the.
I have a quick question for Vin. I'm looking to get some merch for me and my employees to look better. Do you have any like websites you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I just use Printful as of right now. And I use Printful, which is like the Adidas. Can you send that to me? I have the Adidas one on Printful. One thing I do really badly want to do is I do want to get find a better company, but as of right now, I just use the Printful Adidas polos, and that works good enough for me. But I mean, I do want to find like one company that I can use all my merch from. Merch is really expensive. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's another thing I've been doing too as well, because it is getting colder. I bought my mobile guy like a heated jacket. I bought him like all this sort of stuff. And yeah, so real quick, I'm gonna share this with you guys.
Just make sure you're muted so you don't get spammed with audio.
Yeah.
It's not popping up. There we go. That should work there.
So yeah, let me share my screen real quick. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Perfect. So real quick, like, I literally organize everything on like when I think of systemization, I think of simplicity. So I don't want like when I think of like getting multiple shops, when I think of scaling up a multiple different shops, you know, becoming like a McDonald's of detailing and having multiple different locations, I think of, okay, how can I have each location be copy and pasted? It's like, make them as simple as possible. Obviously, they can't be super simple because like businesses are super complex, but I try to have as many things on Notion as possible. So like on here I have, and the VA created like 90% of this. What I do 90% of the time is, as you can see, I have my operations dashboard right here. What I'll do is I'll hop into ChatGPT. I'll talk to ChatGPT. I'm like, ChatGPT, make a guideline for my operations manager, create X, Y, and Z tasks. And then I'll take that, what ChatGPT made, and I'll put it in here for her. And then I'll send over a quick voice note on WhatsApp. I'll be like, hey, Alethea, you have a task for tomorrow. I left it on your dashboard. Just go forth, complete that. And that's how this Notion was created. She did 90% of this. And then once she made the 90%, I went in and I just, for 10%, I pretty much just went and did all that sort of stuff. So everything's in here. You know, we got our community dashboards, our employee resources, our trackers and files, our external companies with our passwords, all that sort of stuff. We have a callback tracker system, a recruitment tracker, like everything is inside of here and everything's systemized, everything's organized, including we have all of our SOPs in our different departments, such as we have like our sales SOPs. And then if you come in here, like just everything, and we have it on Google Drive and we have it in here as well. So it's just super simple. And then the other questions too that we got that are inside of here. Real
I think
quick,
the last one is Matt. I'll read it to you. One quick question in terms of sales. Any tips on being aggressive, especially after the I will let you know or I'm price shopping? Like, bruh, I don't want to waste time with somebody who's price shopping because there'll always be lower offers, cheaper guys.
Wait, let me see one. Yeah, no, that just comes down to objection handling. So that's just properly handling objections and all that sort of stuff. Is like, it's not about being like aggressive. Like, yeah, you want to be aggressive, you want to stay on the phone, but it's more about assisting and guiding them properly. And it's like, okay, if they're saying that they're thinking on it, it's like, why? It's like, why are they thinking on it? You know what I mean? It's like, you really just got to understand their objections and all that sort of stuff. And you like, realistically, like when you're on a sales call, quote unquote, for detailing, it's like you're in the beginning, you're just answering questions, you know, you're asking questions, you're answering questions, and then you're just introducing yourself. The sales doesn't start until you start handling objections. So that thinking on it, it's like, okay, well, why are they thinking on it? And if we can't figure out why they're thinking on it, we're not going to realize how to fix it up and handle the objection. So it's like real quick, someone says they're thinking on it. All that I do is just ask them. It's like, okay, why, you know, what I have my sales rep do too is like, okay, someone says that they're thinking on it. Then I pretty much go forth in, and then I will essentially tell them like, what the one line we use is, you know, okay, awesome. No, you're thinking on it. I can go further and shoot you over a proposal. Before I shoot you over that proposal, out of curiosity, you know, what's the main thing you got to think about? You know, does everything inside of the package sound good? Does everything with the price sound good? And then once you figure out what they're thinking on, then you find the true objection that is. It's either a trust objection, a price objection, or just like, I got to talk to my wife, like those objections. But 90% of the time, those are smoke screen for price objection. So if there's smoke screen for price objection, then we just got to handle a price objection, which is just like, you know, either down sell them to another package, either anchor the price, value stack on some free add-ons, or really, you know, handle with it there. You know, you really got to break down that sales process. That's why I use the AVD method, which is anchor, value stack, then down sell. So just to give you guys a quick example before we hop on the prices question, it's like, okay, we get asked that, okay, I'm thinking on it. I have to talk to my wife. Okay, awesome. No, yeah, of course, you guys have to talk to your wife. To make your process easier, I can send you over a proposal. But real quick, before I send over that proposal, out of curiosity, does everything inside of the package sound good? Does the price sound good? And they're going to do one of two things. They're probably going to open up and be like, yeah, the price was a little bit large. Oh, yeah, I don't really know. Like, I want to talk to my wife about the price. And then you're hearing this price, okay, this person just threw up a smoke screen. It's a price objection. So then if it's a price objection, then it's like, okay, out of curiosity, you know, did you have a specific budget in mind regarding the project? And I was like, yeah. So like you said, you listed it for $1,200. My budget was $500. So it's like, okay, their budget to $500 and we were quoting them on $1,200. They were never going to buy even if we sent them over the proposal. But how are we supposed to know that if we didn't ask these simple questions? So then after that too, once you ask them what their budget is in mind, they say 500. Now it's like, okay, this helps the sales rep and us an extreme amount. Now we know that this $1,200 package is not fit for them. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be able to lower this package down to 500. What we're going to do is we're going to have to downsell them on a different package. So maybe we presented at the $1,200 package was a one step with a 3-year ceramic coating. To pretty much help them get that $500 price point, we downsell them to a package such as, okay, sir, we have, you know, a package that's more within your budget. The only thing is it just doesn't include that one step. It's still going to include a good decontamination wash, no one step, and still the application at 3-year ceramic coating. So you're still going to get 3 years of enhanced protection in that. And that's pretty much what you want to go for. Now that you truly understood why they're thinking on it, why they're about to hop off the phone, you were able to then go forth and handle that objection by downselling because it was a price objection. And then the next one is, I don't know if Vincent's already doing TIN or PPF, but are you, or did you plan on hiring someone who could already apply, or sending someone to get certified, or what are you getting? Yeah, so I got a window tinner right now that's actually training up on window tint right now. So I'm about to start offering window tint here shortly. I actually just hopped on a call with a dude from Jersey who's like a really good dude. He owns this company called Integra Auto Spa, and he's a really, really good window tinter. He's solid. Like, he was teaching me all about window tint. He knows everything in regards to how to pay employees for it, how to do all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I want to get into PPF and window tint as fast as possible. Window tint is probably the hardest guys to find because you want it with window tint. Is price even? Oh yeah, price is on here. So pretty much with like window tint and PPF, it's like you want to hire someone that has the skill already. You know, you don't really want to hire someone in and then, you know, make them train up and, you know, send them out to course. Like, it's just way easier if you just go forth and you do that. It's just way easier. So I'm looking for window tinting guys. I'm using something called Better Team, which essentially Better Team is a job listing platform that lists you out on multiple different you know, job listing sites such as Indeed and all those types of ones. And that's what I pretty much do there. And I'm looking for those guys. Like I said, I have my guy training up right now, so I'm about to start offering window tint soon. And then PPF, you know, you gotta get creative with it. Go around, you know, see just like, you know, post different, you know, you can even run a meta ad for like hiring, like, hey, any window tinters looking for a job, come work at Caruso's Auto Boutique. You know, this is why you should work here, X, Y, and Z. Like, you can even run ads to hiring if you really want to. But no, yeah, I am trying to go forward and do that. We're bringing on tint soon, which is probably going to give us a whole nother $10, $20, $30,000 in revenue.
100%. Beautiful. Any questions from, I think the only two people that hasn't asked questions, Pablo or Nas? If you guys have anything.
I have a question. I recently, like, someone canceled on me and they went with one of my competitors, but they already booked. How can I, like, improve my professionalism so that just doesn't happen again?
Yeah. So I would say I think Vinny and I can both help answer that. I would say it's everything that they experience before they purchase your service. Like, I say this to everyone, right? And always keep this at the forefront of your mind. The types of buyers that you're going to get in your pipeline fall into 3 buckets: the no, the yes, the maybe. 10% of people will never buy your service. Maybe that's somebody like that. 10% of people will always buy your service. I'm sure some of you have, for example, have had sales calls where it's like, man, that was super easy. That guy didn't even price project. He just immediately wanted to get on the schedule. And then finally, 80% is the maybe bucket. People, for example, who just need a little bit more convincing and for you to actually let them know what the value, so on and so forth, of the services for them to want it and be on the schedule. Specifically for you, though, I would say, like, at the end of the day, it's like, if somebody was, let's say we change the scenario to, you know, a different world of somebody choosing, I don't know, Louis Vuitton or, you know, some other competitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that Louis Vuitton, for example, has presented themselves and branded themselves is in a way where it's like, man, people who use our service are this type of person. It's like, as an example, I wear a lot of Lululemon. I wear Lululemon pants, Lululemon polos, whatever the case may be. Why? Not because I think it's the cheapest brand, because it's the way that I think I present myself by wearing that, because the way they branded themselves. Who are the types of people that everyone here immediately think in your mind that wear Lululemon? Professionals, athletes, people who are good looking, whatever the case may be, right? You have a specific type of idea of the type of person that wears that type of clothing. Hence the reason why I buy it, because I want to be attached to that idea. And so the way that, like, actionable steps so you can change the way that you have your brand. And this is something that we're making as well in the school community. I'll share my screen really quick. If anybody hasn't read this post, I think it's really good. You'll find a lot of benefit from it, and specifically goes into what you're talking about, Pablo. And it's branding, right?
Well, I didn't even know this was a thing.
What was that?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, actually, this is something that we haven't even released to everyone yet. I'll send you an invite for it right now after this call, Pablo.
Gotcha.
So this is literally brand new. I made this 48 hours ago.
Okay.
There's not really much in the actual classroom materials yet, but for example, something that we're going to be adding is the authority playbook. And quite literally, you'll see as the description, how to build credibility on Instagram, profile optimization, content strategy.
Yeah, I did that, but the thing is, it was, you know, Emmett. Yeah. So like, I did that, but then he did it too, and I was like, damn. But it's okay. I'll lock in. Don't worry.
Is Emmett he's in your specific area?
Yeah, we're both in San Jose.
I also want you to let you know, like, think of it like this, dude. Like,
no, like, I'm goated. Don't worry.
No, yeah, like, always remember too, like, competition is totally fine. Like, you got to remember too, like, what's your
there's like 3 million people here. It's not.
And maybe there's 50 other competitors. Like, you need a sliver of that population size for you to be making 7 figures a year. 0.01% for you to be making 6 figures and 7 figures. So it's like, competition is fine. Like, don't think that, like, visibly in your mind, you might think, man, I have 10 other competitors who are way better than me that have 10x the amount of reviews that I have. So, dude, it's like, there's so much opportunity for actual job value and getting people on the calendar. Like, you just need a sliver of a percentage of the population. But like things like that, for example, it's like really the experience that people have leading up to the call. It might be objection handling. In this instance, it might be as simple as the fact that they were just looking for a cheaper price and they didn't really, you know, have education on the value of the service that you were able to provide. It's the fact that it's like, hey, can I trust this person to do a better job than that person? Am I willing to pay more for that fact? Awesome, sweet. I'm going to go to this person. So it's like maybe the reason they went over there is maybe, hey, they had more trust and belief in that business. Or maybe they're just cheaper and that person, for example, is a client that you shouldn't have even had because they're shit.
Yeah, the reason he gave me is because like he was uncomfortable with me coming to his house. So I don't know.
Really?
But, yeah. And he was like, "You come to people's houses?" And then
like right
the
there,
next day I see
it's education.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not educated on the fact that, yeah, there's mobile services nowadays. Maybe he's an old head. He's 80 years old and he doesn't understand that, like, hey, there's businesses out there that offer mobile detailing instead of just shop based now. So like stuff like that. He just needed more education on the fact that it's like, hey, we're not going to rob you. We're not going to come with 10 guys and we're not going to freaking do XYZ to your car. So let me just educate you more on this. I've had that too. If you're trying to get somebody forward.
But he said like he couldn't see my face on my Google My Business. Should I add like more informational videos to my Google My Business? I don't know if I should.
Yeah. Like in all reality, it's like maybe that's 1% of the clients you've ever dealt with. If that's the case, maybe it's not that big of a problem for you to spend so much time resolving. But if it's something that you've seen on a frequent basis, then yeah, like post videos on Instagram, like why you're mobile, the benefits of it, the features, why it's cool, why we're not going to rob you and go into your house and take all of your belongings. Like let people know a little bit more education on the service. Price, does that kind of help, by the way? Sorry, Pablo.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Beautiful. Price, to quickly answer your question as well, so many followers on the first class account, literally just posting. Like if we go to my old detailing account, for any of you that don't know, I used to also have a detailing business. Used to be my old detailing business account or Instagram. I'll share my screen. It was called First Class Mobile Detail. I had 30,000 followers on TikTok and like whatever this amount is, 13.3 on Instagram. The reason I was able to grow it so fast is just posting good content. And in all reality too, it's like a majority of the people that did follow the account were other business detailing owners. And so it's like, it's not like I was attracting so many consumers and people that are interested in the service, but the fact that I did have a high following and the Instagram did look optimal, it did help with conversions on sales. Because guess what happens when people visit an account that looks like this after they submit a quote form? Holy shit, you got 13.3, you got 150 plus 5-star Google reviews, bio looks optimized, Google, highlights are optimized, nice 3-pin posts. We got a Urus, we got an M4, we got another Lamborghini. We had over $500,000 in cars already in just the pin post alone. I got more social proof, a quick little screenshot of the Google reviews, and then just more cars and videos I've done. I'm just posting a shit ton of social proof. The majority of it, just to kind of like really simplify the answer, a lot of it was just like story time videos. Like this one got 712,000 views. It was just a story time with a specific car I did, or like a story time here, like whatever the case would be, like just a bunch of bullshit. I would say though, followers, like at the end of the day, just like at my peak, I was maybe doing what, $20,000 a month with my mobile detailing business. Followers do not equate to success or more revenue. Will it help with conversion and social proof? 100%. But it's not immediately going to give you a direct return on your investment. I would say just post stuff that gives you more credibility and social proof. Hence the reason why we're going to make that that specific classroom on the school, which is about building social proof on your Instagram. Sweet. And then Matt, there's a question you had on, I've had that too. I had a question regarding securing the booking deposit. Yeah, Tony, I know you just left, but to answer the question, I did shut the first class more detail down. I have a question regarding, yeah, go for it. I think Vinny can better answer that, but I think your question is, how can you deal with people objecting over the fact that they don't want to pay a deposit sometimes?
Yeah, it's like I had this one guy. He thought I was like originally like a scam, because I was like, I asked him just to wrap up the phone call, just one more thing before we're all set. I require a 20% deposit to lock it down and product reasons, whatever. And he was like, no. I'm like, and then he's like, no, you're probably a scam. How do I know that? I'm like, oh, here we go, bro. This was like 11 o'clock at night too. So like he thought I was a scam because of the ad. I mean, I understand where he's kind of coming from, because there's just everybody has like ads going out, right? But like at the same time, I'm like, I'm not. Like I tried validating my services, said go into the Instagram, go to the Google page, my name's on there. The phone number I'm calling you from is on that Google, so it's like how do you really like handle that? So like, I mean, I kind of just, I didn't do the service at all because I don't want to risk having me or two other guys going there, wasting our time for him to be like, oh, I didn't want this, or he doesn't live there, he doesn't show up, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
You want to take that?
I mean, well, it's like, do you send them to your Instagram page and all that sort of stuff too?
Yeah. I told him Instagram, showed him the website, the Google business profile, like I said, like the phone number that I'm calling him from was on my Google profile, you know. So
And he still wasn't like giving you any, like he just didn't want to pay the deposit.
yeah, he was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't know that for sure, and I don't know if you're gonna show up. Like, bro, look at the fucking 5-star. Like, I don't get people. Like, I'm
Yeah.
literally showing you 5 different things to prove my case. You know, it's for $300. I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
And I mean, like, you don't have to not book them. The strategy that I have with my sales rep is if someone doesn't pay the deposit, we're going to put them in gray on your able. And then the thing is essentially like, say we book someone a week down the line next year, we'll put them in gray. If we get someone that we call that's going to put down the deposit, we'll put them right over that person's spot. And also too, when they're gray on your able, I'll give them calls after that to collect deposit and all that sort of stuff. But you just got to be informative. Like, you got to tell them like why, like you might want to know why you're taking the deposit, you know, just tell them like, hey, the owners take deposit, you know, it's just to put towards your service, you know, lower cancellation rate. Just be completely honest. I know that you're not going to do it, but other people cancel with us. Like, you just got to be a little bit more informative there. Some people you just can't really do anything with. That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you're just not going to be able to get a deposit out of every single person, which is like, you can only do so much. Like, it sounds like you did everything you could. That's where you got to rely on just making. I've serviced people like $1,000 plus jobs that didn't pay the deposit, and we still service them. We still got money from them. And it's just like, what happened is I put them in gray. And then I called them like 2 days before the service. They said, yeah, no, we're all good. I just don't want to pay the deposit. Yeah, we're all good. And then I called them the day before the service just to confirm even more. And they're like, yeah, we're good. And then boom, they're good. I went there, collected money, even though I didn't get the deposit.
my thought was even like sending them like an approval through your able, like, because on the approval, like if you attach like the terms and conditions, it will say like you have to pay a deposit. But if you waive that, like, you know, through text or whatever, so you have like a base there saying that you don't have to pay, but you have to sign this approval. I guess that's a way too. Just so like if you show up, you know, you have like a legal backing, I guess, because they signed for it technically.
Yeah, and I get every person that books in with me signs an approval and pays the deposit. Or not every person pays the deposit, but you know, most people are gonna, after I book someone in, an approval, get the preparation guide gets into them, telling them how to prepare the vehicle, telling them about our basic policies, all sort of stuff. And then on top of that, what gets sent over as well too is the approval link. They approve on it, you know, just signing off on that. And then after that too, they're gonna go forth and we're gonna send them the deposit link.
Got you.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Sweet.
that's pretty much everything.
Nas, I think you're the only person that didn't ask a question. If you wanted to, by all means, do you have any questions specifically for your business, Nas?
Yeah, I'll start with introducing myself because we're into that. Anas started officially detailing business. Well, I'm the owner of Essential Details. Started a little over a year ago. My question was actually kind of around how to hire the right person and maintain that quality. But I think Vincent kind of went over some of those points over there. Starting from the SOP, you know, to the hands-on training. And then I really like the fact that like with the Notion dashboard, with the feedback like section or the notes section, like to mention like what they did wrong or like, you know, things for improvement. So I think that kind of covered it. But if you want to add anything else to that, you know, just to obviously nobody's going to do better than the owner themselves because, you know, that's the person that's going to care about the business the most. So how do we get employees to have that same level of quality, same level of care, and they're not just there for the money?
Yeah, so I think I covered most of it in that regard. I think I covered like the fact that you want to mentor them, you want to tie in their goals into the company.
Yeah.
You want to work with them, you want to have good communication, and you want to give them vision. That's the main things I think I stated there too. What I didn't talk about though is the hiring process. You don't want to hire someone like, you know, 90% of your issues can always start from the beginning. So like, you want to make sure you do hire someone that you're hiring the right person that's probably not going to do something dumb to you. You know what I essentially mean there? So it's like, if you do want someone that's going to, you know, be obedient to you, going to do a good job, it's like, okay, then hire the right person to fill that role. And then it's going to make your life 10 times easier. So it's like, when you're hiring, I use Better Team. Like I said, I'm always constantly going on reviews, and the more people, even though I pay Better Team $100 per month, it's like, okay, what is that allowing me to do? That's essentially allowing me to go forth and pretty much go in there and then tell it, like, find tons of people to interview. And the more people I have to interview, the more people I can choose from. And that just allows you to get the better person underneath your belt. You know, make sure you're asking good questions, understand, you know, what they do in their personal life, because what people do in their personal life will result to their work life. You know, it's really understand, you know, and interviews people properly, and try to get as many people to interview. This way you can bring on the right person. If you bring on the right person straight off the bat, you're going to have potentially less issues.
Do you have like a specific criteria that you want met before even interviewing a candidate, so that you're not, you know, just finding someone that's interested in the position and you're just interviewing right then, but just qualifying them before even doing the interview?
So I mean, like, the main thing is gonna be I don't really look for anything too crazy. Like with window tint and PPF, I look to see if they have window tint or PPF experience. With detailing technicians, I'm just looking to see, you know, it's not one thing in particular I'm looking for. I'm just looking for to see, okay, what's their previous work experience? You know, how old are they? What have they done before? What college have they gone to? Which doesn't really care. I don't even give a fuck. Like, if someone went to college, not to college, like, that shit doesn't mean anything. But like, there's that. You know, just ask some questions that like it's almost like, if you were told to sit down in front of a person and your main goal is to figure everything out about them, that's the main thing that you're doing, is you're asking just a series of questions to figure out the type of person they are as fast as possible. You know, what their work life looks like, what their personal life looks like, what they like to do for fun, why they want to work for your company. Just ask them questions to understand who they are, and the better you understand who they are, you better understand, see if they fit for your company.
For sure.
But I think that's pretty much everything, like, in regards to delegation, all that. Just make sure and at the end of the day, that is one of the most important things. Like, delegation is the most important thing. Like, if there's one thing you got to master, I would say make it be delegation, because then when you're a CEO and you got everything delegated, then all you have to do is focus on all your people and master delegation, and then they'll just do everything else for you.
100%. Sweet. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll have Pablo ask the last question, and if anyone else has any other questions, shoot them over to the Slack. Me and Vinny can send a video or Loom or whatever works, or we'll have our next call. Obviously, this is something that's going away. Yeah, go for it, Pablo.
So I have like so much people in my not yet thinking about it, and my like holding and react. Like, what do I do to, like, I guess, re-engage them? Because I did like 2 SMS blasts back to back, and I got like 1 person. But then like a guy right after I did his detail, he was like, "Bro, stop texting me," and I was like, "Damn." And I was about to ask him for a review too.
I would say, I mean, that comes with it, right? It's like we have to send SMS blasts, or we don't have to, but it's obviously going to be more optimal to get more bookings. But that's totally fine. You're always going to get people that are going to say, stop messaging me, unsubscribe. That doesn't necessarily mean we have to actually stop it. Like, that just comes with the fact that we're, you know, bombarding people with messages or emails. One thing, like I said at the beginning of the call, that we're going to be implementing to help you specifically with that. To quickly answer that, since I'm talking about it and I'm on the topic, Luis, at minimum, I think you should be doing an SMS blast every single month. Every single 4 weeks, there should be an SMS blast being sent out. Obviously, specifically centered around that time of year. If it's 4th of July offer, winter special, Black Friday, whatever the case would be. 2 things in terms of updates to specifically help you, though, Pablo, is number 1, what we're going to be doing for everyone. I haven't publicly announced this. I'll just tell you now, since there's such little people here, but I'll be telling everyone that works with LEADFUSE, is we're going to be crafting and creating a email and SMS sequence specifically for Black Friday, so you guys can sell like gift cards. That's going to be obviously a really good upsell, and we can craft that specific offer for you guys. Number 2, what we're going to be updating within the system that's already going to help nurture people further for you, Pablo, is all those people in those 2 tabs, for example, who maybe aren't necessarily interested on the service now. We're going to be doing those weekly email newsletters. So educational post, hey, like maybe a client of the week post, like, hey, look at this nice car that we did. Just updating people and keeping your business top of mind. So guess what happens when you do send that SMS blast? Well, sweet, awesome. They maybe follow your Instagram, they see content being posted. They've been seeing the emails coming in, and they've been educated on the service further, and they see other client, you know, weekly wins. Then whenever they do get sent that SMS blast, they're more inclined to actually reply, buy the service, get on the calendar, XYZ. So we just want to constantly be giving touch points to these customers. So we're just keeping, like I said, the business top of mind. Does that help kind of answer that?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Quick
Sorry.
question, real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
For the SMS blast, is this both for the lead pipeline, the people that aren't booking yet, or past clients, or both?
I would say SMS blasts are good for everybody. Anybody and everybody in your contact list throughout the whole entire pipeline, whether they've purchased the service, whether, like, obviously if a specific offer for the SMS blast goes against what somebody's purchased in the past, and that might strike the question of like, hey, like this offer is way better than what I got. And obviously just remove them, for example, of what's going out to people that's been booked or job complete. But majority of people in the pipeline who haven't purchased a service, then yeah, we want to be sending the SMS blast out to everyone there, whether they're fresh, whether they're in long-term nurturing, whether they're in follow-up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the case may be. If everyone can see the offer and get reminded of what's going on, awesome, sweet. Let's get it sent to everyone.
Yeah, and you guys essentially just want to treat James and Mike like they're your CMOs. Like, you know, what I do is I'll be like, yo, Mike, let's run an SMS blast. Let's go for it. Let's make it say this, this, and that. And also to Mike, let's send it to everyone in every single pipeline stage except for jobs booked, jobs completed, and lost and reply stop. So just tell, like, you can just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Treat them like your own CMO.
100%. I would say like off tangent, but like one thing for sure that I see, because obviously I'm in everybody's Slack channel. And so I see all the messages coming in, I see all the notifications, XYZ. One thing I would say for sure that has accounted to success on the marketing side of things for Vincent is Vincent somebody that's messaging to them all the freaking time. He's sending voice notes, he's sending messages, he's sending things that want to be updated and done. Obviously, we're going to be proactive and make sure, like, hey guys, what do you guys need help with? What can we help with? XYZ. We're tracking your ads, we're optimizing, we're doing retargeting, XYZ. But just update us on what's going on. That's what Vinny does a really good job of. Hey, here are the bad things that are happening, here are the good things that are happening. Hey, can we change this? The more communication that you give us, the better that we can go ahead and grab that communication and then fix whatever it is we need to fix to make sure we're getting you better results. Sweet. Awesome. Just to kind of reiterate before we do hop off, guys, anybody that doesn't have an invite to the school community, which is this, I will be sending pretty much a wide message to everybody so that everyone gets a full invitation to this. This is pretty much going to be a place for three things. It's going to be a place for, number one, obviously communication amongst you guys, which is right here. Private network, connect with shop owners. Number two is going to be what I like to call kind of the classroom, which is the Vault, ad script Vault, closers playbook, scale system, anything and everything within the actual platform side of things or classroom side of things. So you guys can just learn more stuff that we're going to be publishing on. And then number three is going to be the biweekly masterminds, which is what we're doing right now. So mainly, like I said, three main things: communication with the community. Number two is going to be pretty much the classroom, which is going to provide a lot of content on a bunch of stuff: lead nurturing, lead generation, sales, closing, fulfillment, onboarding, recruitment, operations, systemization, everything there. And then number three, obviously these calls are obviously going to be implementing some other stuff like giveaways or whatever the case may be, but good place to be. So I'll make sure everyone gets an invitation for that. Another thing for these calls, if you don't join them, or if you want to see past calls, you go to the classroom, you go to mastermind call recordings. We had the first one 2 weeks ago. The main topic that we went over was how to scale past 50K per month, breaking the 15 to 20K revenue ceiling, the 4-pillar lead nurturing system, the AVD Sales Framework, Instagram optimization, always be recruiting, and real client breakdowns on what's working now. So if you guys want to see the past call, this is where that's going to be. This call that we're having right now, it's obviously being recorded. It's going to be uploaded here as well. But like I said, every 2 weeks we'll be having this call. Other than that, guys, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for actually joining, asking questions, and being proactive. Stuff like this, guys, being in the Slack, telling us what's going good, telling us what's going bad, having good communication, joining these calls where you can ask questions and actively get answers to the stuff that you need answers on. This is stuff that's actually going to proactively grow your business. So continue to do things like this. But yeah, appreciate your guys' time. Thank you so much for being here. We'll have the next call obviously in 2 weeks from today, which is going to be the next Sunday. And other than that, guys, you guys have a great rest of your night. God bless you all.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. See y'all.